Could you just let me know when Ryan, when the streaming starts?
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, good. Thank you very much. Right. Good evening, members. First of all, can I ask all members to make sure they are muted? Everybody in the meeting are muted. Only use the can put your microphone on when you're actually going to speak, and you'll then make sure we don't get any background noise. So if I can make sure everybody is muted, and that makes life a little bit easier. So good evening, members, for the November meeting of Campbell Park Parish Council, full council, and we'll start off straight away. Clark, do you have members present?
I have those, Chair.
Do we have any apologies for absence?
Just as far as I'm aware, Councillor Kaheen will not be here for a personal commitment this evening, Chair.
Thank you. Members, are there any of you that have any declarations of interest from anything that is listed in the agenda?
Yes.
Who was that? Carl.
Carl.
Springfield Initiative. I'll take that, Carl.
That's the one.
Thank you. You are on there for us, I believe, so I don't think it is a declaration. I don't think you need to do a declaration of interest, but we will record it.
Chair, could you put me down for the same reason? That's David from Worcester.
Yes, okay, but you don't need to, David. But again, it's because you're on there for. Oh, no, you're not on there for us, are you?
No.
Right. Okay. Members of the public present, Clark.
I have those, Chair.
Thank you very much. Public involvement. Do we have any deputations, petitions, or questions from the public?
We don't have any, Chair, and we do not appear to have anybody currently sitting in the lobby, so that's a no.
Thank you very much. We will go straight on to item 3, the presentation. Now, before we go in, sorry,
why can't we see you?
You can't see me?
No.
My camera's 5 minutes frozen up again, so you're just hearing me. So it's probably a good thing for some of you. Yes. Item 3 with the presentation. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask everybody, apart from whoever is speaking in the presentation, to turn off their cameras and to mute. That way, then we'll get the person that's making the presentation will have the screen, and it will be much easier to understand and to see. Okay. I'm going to just hand straight over to the clerk on this one and let him introduce where we are and what we're doing. Clerk.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. I'd like to just introduce this item this evening on the development of a Green Spaces app, which we've done carried out in conjunction with Cloudy IT, our IT partners. You will know that we've taken on the Devolve Landscaping Service as of April this year, and it truly has been a magical mystery tour for us. It's been very eventful. There's been lots of challenges that have been thrown up to us and lots of learning that we've been able to carry out along the way. It's fair to say that when we took the service over from Milton Keynes Council, that we didn't have any existing data in terms of previous conversations that had been going on between residents and Milton Keynes Council regarding historical and ongoing landscape issues. And at the same time, the level of maintenance that was carried out in the year immediately prior to the handover meant that there were many new issues that were emerging as soon as the plants around our area started to grow. So we were left in, we found ourselves in a position where fairly quickly we were being contacted on a daily, if not hourly basis by residents with their various concerns that they were bringing to us. As I say, some of them were brand new. Others that had been they'd been in dialogue with Milton Keynes Council for ever such a long time about. And we were really at the point potentially where it might have started to get a little bit unmanageable if we hadn't done something about it in terms of the way that we handled that information and acted upon it. It was at that point that I thought to speak to David at Cloudy IT to really pull on his expertise, because I likened it very much to a situation that I could see that, you know, his organisation are due to dealing with on a daily basis, with lots of inquiries and tickets coming in from the customers, which need to then to be handled. They need to be prioritised accordingly, and then put into the correct workflow for the appropriate person to work on at the appropriate time. So that was really the situation we were in. That was the cause for me then to speak to David. But at the same time, we literally just at the same time moved over into our new 365 environment that we're still becoming more familiar with on an ongoing basis. And I spoke to David and I said, I'd really like him to be able to unlock a solution from within our new 365 toolbox, which we just invested a lot of our funding into. And, you know, the perfect solution for me was one where we were going to use that toolbox without a huge amount of additional expenditure involved. So that's the point that David absolutely took up the challenge. He was very happy to take that on. There's a very quick response from David that, you know, he would look into that. And it's most probably best at this point, if I just hand over to David, so he can tell you how the situation evolved from there. Thanks, David.
Brilliant, Dominic. Well, thank you very much. I mean, first of all, you know, Claudia, very, very grateful for the opportunity to work with Campbell Park Parish Council. A really exciting, forward-thinking council that's never afraid to sort of embrace technology and sort of work with the community to engage much better. And you know, Claudia, we're really excited to be able to be given the opportunity to improve a key service that I know is so important to the council. As Dominic described, you know, there were lots of inquiries coming in, and he wanted to see if there's a digital solution that could leverage the costs that you'd already invested into your IT systems. And we sort of came to the challenge. And here at Cloudy, we're very passionate about working in the community, and we are setting up a foundation to work with young people and our customers to give the young people opportunity to work in real world opportunities. And we were actually contacted by Aaron about working at Cloudy during the height of COVID. Now, rather than me explain and go through the whole project, a video was put together of the process that kind of sums up the experience Aaron had in delivering this wonderful service for Campbell Park. So I'm just going to share my screen and play the video, if that's okay, and then hopefully that will sort of hopefully summarise the process that was involved. So I'm just going to share my screen now, and then it should come up. So bear with me 1 second. And here we go. I need to share it with sound, else it will play better. And there we go. So that should, there we go.
Contacted David on LinkedIn because he commented on one of my posts, and I looked at his business and saw that it was really interesting, so I thought I'd contact him and ask if there was any work experience going on, or if he could give me any advice about school or anything. Then we called and he thought he'd introduce me to Microsoft Power Platform, so I started looking at that, and then he started setting some tasks for me to do.
Cool. Okay. Well, listen, you know, well done for, you know, looking at it so quickly. I mean, I only sort of, you know, gave it to you like, you know, sort of this morning. You're already on the case, so yeah, that's wicked. What do you want to do? Do you want to share your screen and just sort of talk us through what you've done?
First, I made a Microsoft form. So this is it. So if I go into preview, so it says report an issue. So I've made these questions. So the issue you'd like to report, describing it.
Yeah.
And then so if I do this quickly, you can upload a picture as well. So when I click submit, it'll be on responses here.
Yeah.
And then it's Yeah, it's here. I've made a bucket called not resolved, and then you can add notes, and then I've made another one called resolved, which you can move it
Well,
to.
listen, this is a great start, Aaron. It's
Okay.
highlighting the power of the platform, and very quickly you can do something that actually is quite useful.
So the task was from Campbell Park, and they wanted a app, sort of a thing where you could report an issue going on in the park, and then it would transfer it to a task that the landscaping team in the council can see and resolve with the person that reported it. So I did a presentation to the council showing them my app and explaining it through, and then they gave me some improvements to make and what they liked about it, so I set off and made the next prototype for them.
Okay, well, Aaron, do you want to take over then? We'll let you do the driving.
Yeah, that's great. So, as David said, it's all in the teams. If I go to the home page, so this team has, as I showed you last time, it has the planner, the SharePoint, and the form, so you can view all that easier. What I'll do first, I'll take you through what I've started with. Submit. So first it would go to the planner, we'll come up in here, and then that would have to be manually moved. So it would also generate a response ID. So this ID is 16, so you can, as you said, you can talk to other people and tell them the ID, so you can find the task quickly. And then the email, so it would be formatted as this. This can be changed, obviously. This is what I've done with so far. So it includes the response ID, saying how long it'll take to reply, and a link to the website, and if you want to unsubscribe from the forum.
So that's obviously what Aaron's put together. He's done a brilliant job. You know, we sort of send stuff to him, and he just makes those changes and presents it back and stuff. So we're really pleased with what he's come up with here. And you know, he's got 2 more weeks until he goes back to school. And then obviously we'll stay in touch with Aaron, definitely, but our engineers will take this over. But Aaron, how have you found the experience, just whilst we're sort of talking about this part of the programme?
Well, it's been amazing because this is like my first proper like work experience, and to be able to do it for a real client is really good, because I can see how it works in real time, learning about meeting with people, connecting with people. It's just been overall exciting to do and interesting learning about Microsoft and
that's really good to hear that, Aaron. And I guess the fact that this is kind of a real project, just as opposed to some sort of like hypothetical type thing, you know, there will be a tangible benefit and an outcome that we see at the other side of that. And you know, we kind of very much appreciate the effort and the imagination that you've put into that. I think you've sensed what our brief is in terms of what we require, and you've translated that into a system that, as David says, it's got all of the potential to make a real difference to us.
Probably when I first contacted David, I was quite scared of like meeting up with clients and just introducing to a totally new platform. So just say, probably just go for it and do what you can, be creative and enjoy it, obviously. Thank you to Cardi for taking me on. Like, usually I've had a work experiences just for a day, just helping out and not actually doing things that I'm interested in, whereas this was really interesting and actually fun during my summer holidays, rather than playing on the PlayStation or doing anything else.
Congratulations, Aaron, on building a great solution for Campbell Park Parish Council. These things aren't easy, but what you've done and what you've created, you should be very proud of. It's been a pleasure working with you. I know the feedback from the customer, the council, and also from our engineers has been superb, so you should be very proud of that. So well done. I hope you enjoyed the process. We certainly did, and please do stay in touch. All the best, David. Right, great. So hopefully that video sort of summarised the process that Aaron went through working with Dominic and Danny from the landscaping team. But just, you know, it was a great experience for Aaron, and it will tell you a few words in a moment. But thank you so much to Campbell Park, to obviously Dominic and Terry and the rest of the councillors for the opportunity to create this app. It's you know, this is all done during COVID, during the height of COVID, done remotely. And this is a template that other councils are going to follow. And we are speaking to lots of councils about similar programmes. So Campbell Park, where it was a first to be done, and I think we're going to see a lot more. So I think, Aaron, would you like to say a couple of words to the council and to Terry and Dominic at all?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, because obviously it was really good, and the fact that like I'm meeting with clients, like obviously the council and with the Cloudy team with David, I think that's like really boosted my confidence at school and outside of school, and to be able to work on an app like this is amazing to do. And with all these like resources you can get now with Microsoft, and it's really fun and engaging to be in.
Brilliant, Darren. Well, thanks ever so much. You were a great student to work with. So, you know, testament to your hard work. You know, I think you've done really well. Yeah, thanks, Aaron. I mean, I know we're going to stay in touch. There's lots more we want to do with this programme. Terry, is there anything you want to say, or Dominic at all?
I'm absolutely astounded that we are going forward in such a speedy manner with our Microsoft partners, and the way we're using the platform now. I mean, it's leaving me behind because I'm not that savvy, but I'm gradually getting there. But Aaron, absolutely, you've got such a future in front of you, and David, I'm just hoping that you can continue this. And with the Cloudy Foundation, which I know all about. Obviously, we've had the discussion, and hopefully that will be very, very successful. Do you mind taking a couple of questions if members want to ask a question? Any members want to ask any questions? David, you bring your camera up and unmute yourself.
Yeah, my question, Chair, is with regard to it being residential landscapes, is the opportunity there in terms of looking at it to distinguish between the ownership of what may be potentially private and parish council land? So in other words, if you've got two pieces of land side by side, will it distinguish between, say for argument down in Woolstone, you've got the Parks Trust on one side, you've got the Parish Council on the other. Will you be able to distinguish that if a resident wants to ask a query? Like that's Parish Council, no, that's Parks Trust.
I think Dominic has got his hand up for that.
Thanks, Chair. Yes, David, is the answer to your question. One of the things that we were keen to do was to take as much pressure off of the landscape team and the management. You know, at this point in time, they've got a huge task ahead of them anyway. So one of the things that we're kind of looking at is to be able to filter out at an early stage those inquiries that relate to us and those that don't. But that's not just filtering them out and not being helpful in that respect, but hopefully giving them the information that they require then to take their inquiry forward. So yes, David, that is something that's been taken into account. Thank you.
Thank you, Clark. Tubo.
Thank you, Chair. Well done, Aaron and the Cloud IT team. My question is about the usage. Is this purely for reporting? And if it is purely for reporting, how does one get this app?
Do you want me to answer that?
David, if you want to talk to that, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So the app obviously allows for an inquiry to be made from the website or from a mobile phone. It will come into the system where it can be managed and responded to and assigned to the correct council officer. And a real-time report is generated as well. It's very visual, very easy to understand, and actually should give the council some really good stats in terms of able to monitor the number of inquiries and obviously how you resolve them as well. So Dominic and Elaine and Danny have access to all of this information. So I'm sure once the service is going live, which I think is about now, in fact, as of your council meeting very soon, you'll be able to see those reports and view the data of this new fantastic service.
Thank you, David. I think I've got Ray there.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just one quick question. We're saying that there's an app, but is that going to work on both platforms, like through iPhone and through Android? Aaron, do you want to answer that, Aaron?
Yeah, so what we're thinking of integrating the form into the Campbell Parish Park website, so it should be available to both iPhone and Android. So you can just go onto the website, quickly fill out the form, and it's quick and easy and quick to use.
Lovely, thank you very much.
Thank you. No further questions? Excellent. Okay,
Chair,
David.
Chair.
Yes.
It's not a question so much as a statement really at this point, and I just would like to take the opportunity to absolutely thank Aaron for the part that he's played in this. It's just been inspirational to us really. You said yourself, Chair, that we stand at the potential of getting left behind in all of this. It's important that we don't, and with the inspiration of people like Aaron pushing us forward, we know that we can carry on that journey. So thank you, Aaron.
Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, thank you so much. We will want to stay in contact, obviously with you, David. We've got to do that. But,
I was just going to add, Terry, what we'd love to do is, obviously Aaron's based in Preston. Would you believe it? I didn't even know when we first started talking, which shows you obviously the power of what's going on. But we would love to work with students in Campbell Park Parish as well on projects. Yeah, we would do. So, this is what we did here was purely a pilot. It was just testing the idea and it worked incredibly well. But I think it would be great to connect to young people in your parish and give them the opportunity that Aaron had around helping and understanding what a council does and how it works. So that's something we are thinking about at the moment.
Superb.
Yep.
Thank you very, very much. Now, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. I'm sure you've got much better things to be doing. But again, thank you so much on behalf of all of the councillors here. Very interesting and going forward is absolutely superb.
Right. Thank you very much. We'll drop off and leave you to it. But thanks, everyone. Take care. All the best.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, members, you can put your cameras back on now if you wish.
Chair, just as members are doing that, just to give you an update in terms of members present, with the exception of Adan Kaheen, I can confirm that all members are now present.
Thank you. That's a good sign. Members, item 4, which is minutes of the meeting of council held on the 15th of September 2020. And before anybody asks, the reason it's September's is because there are some commercially sensitive items within October's minutes, as there were for September at the October meeting. So we are holding off on publishing, or as we are allowed to propose and accept minutes of the last month. So this is for September, which is on page 9 of your agenda pack. So if we can go through page 9.
Sorry, Chair.
Hugo, go ahead.
Just a question. Have we not read this before?
No.
If it is a September, and
no,
we
I just said we didn't do it in October, Tubo. For that reason, we didn't have any minutes. We didn't approve any minutes at the last meeting. So this is the approval of September's minutes, because the stuff in it that is no longer as sensitive commercially. So page 9, members, please. Anything on there? Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. And page 14. Anything on there that is not correct, or is anybody prepared to propose a true record?
Propose true record.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for that?
Yeah, I'll second that, Terry.
Thank you. Can I please hear of anybody that dissents from the motion? So who doesn't agree with the motion? I take it that's nobody. Therefore, the proposal is carried. Item 5, which is the Parish Council proposal. Parish Council budget proposals, 2021-2022 review of earmarked financial reserves, which is on your page 15. Dominic, do you want to run through this?
Yeah, sure, absolutely, Chair. We've come to that time of year again, as I said in my email to all of you towards the end of last week, where we're particularly focusing on our finance arrangements for the period ahead of us. So we will, as we move through the next 3 meetings, 2 of Council and 1 of FNA, we will start the process tonight by looking at the budget proposals that the different committees have put forward. At the same time, we will earmark the reserves that have been set aside previously by Council. What flows out of tonight's meeting will inform the draft budget, which will be created for review at FNA at the beginning of December. And we anticipate that FNA will then recommend the draft budget, and alongside that a precept recommendation for next year. So the budget will cover the next 5 years, and alongside that the earmarked reserves are also for a period of up to 5 years, although we tend to look really at the next couple of financial years in doing so. So that's really where the process is, Chair, and what we need to do. So I think the next thing that you're required to do is to actually review those project proposals that have been put forward by the various committees, Chair, and they start on page 17 in terms of a summary, and on the following pages, as marked out on page 17, it shows you the individual project proposals themselves. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that, Clark. Does anybody have any comments or a question before we go on to the actual budget proposals? Ray, could I ask you to drop your hand, because I keep thinking you want to speak again.
Sorry, Chair.
No problem at all. I take it nobody wants to speak on that, so we will go now on to the meat of where we are for that, which is the Parish Council budget proposals. And on page 17, as the clerk has said, is a summary of those that we will be discussing tonight and approving. And so what we'll do, we will go straight on to page 19, which is the budget request from Buildings and Property Portfolio. Ray, do you want to go through this?
Yeah, I think David would be better. He was the one that put the proposal together, I think.
Okay, David.
Thank you, Chair.
Ray, can you bring your hand down, please?
Can you leave that for me, Tubo, please? You don't need to comment. Thank you.
Yeah, basically, it was something that got put back previously because of the potential of a parish office there. But it was one that we did say that once we had the ownership of the building, we would look at car parking. There is an element there of landscaping in front of the building that can accommodate the car parking. And so because car parking is very tight down that end, and especially with the usage of the Springfield meeting place when it's at full steam ahead, it would make sense to put this disabled car parking in.
Thank you very much. And the cost, the costing on this is £15,000 excluding VAT. David, are you making that a proposal?
Yes, I am, Chair.
And do I have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Thank you very much. Does anybody want to speak, or can we go to the vote?
Chair, you have Francis who would like to speak.
Okay, Francis.
No, I was going to second.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Francis.
Okay.
If nobody wants to speak, we will go to the vote. Does anybody not agree with the proposition? Does anybody against the proposition? Okay, members, if that's the case, I will take that as carried, and that will go forward. The next one on page 21, again, is buildings and property portfolio. David, this is another one of yours.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I thought this had actually already been approved, Chair, last January, both at full council and at the Buildings Committee. So I don't know whether the funding was there for it then, but I thought there was a breakdown in terms of the costing to carry out this work. If it wasn't then I would ask and I would put this forward tonight as a proposal, if we can crack on and make the allotment secure for the tenants who rent the plots, but also to stop any dumping of rubbish that we find down there from time to time. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Yes, no, it was put forward, David, but it was never put down as a project, and therefore that was during the year, so there was no budget for it, which we then said we'd have to bring it forward for 21-22. Is there a seconder for this proposal?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Does anybody wish to speak?
No.
I can't see any hands. My screen is frozen, so you'll have to speak up, please.
There's no hands currently shown, Chair.
Thank you, Dominic. In that case, does anybody wish to vote against the proposal? I will take that silence as no. Therefore, the proposal is carried. Builders and property portfolio again. Ray, you can do this one, please.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Yeah, it was brought to Buildings and Property regarding the container on Fishermead Sports Ground. At the present time, we are renting it on a monthly basis, and it was proposed that we have a look at least a proposal of taking it forward to purchase it outright, or to go ahead and purchase a new one. So that's where we are at the moment.
And you're making that proposal?
Yes, please, Chair.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
Thank you. I wish to make an amendment. The amendment is that we actually deal with it now and pay for it now. We have the funds and we actually deal with it now for one reason. We would be paying another £360 in rent for this container if we don't pay for it now. So I wish to make that amendment that it actually goes out of funds now. I've checked and spoken with the clerk and he agrees that the funding is actually there. Can I see a seconder for that amendment, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Ray, do you accept the amendment?
Oh, it makes absolute sense, Chair. I'll accept that amendment.
Thank you very much. We'll now go on. Does anybody wish to discuss the full proposal, including the amendment that we pay for it now?
You don't currently have any hands shown, Chair.
Thank you, Dominic.
Yes, Yeah, yes, Chair. Sorry,
Go ahead, Thibault.
I'm slightly slow in clicking this. Chair, my question is the cost. You have just made an additional amendment. You have just made an amendment to that. Would that cost us additional to 1,800 that is proposed here?
It will actually save us £360, Tubo, because we won't pay rent now up until the end of March, when the proposal would allow us to pay it out in April. So in other words, we would be paying rent out for that time.
So this proposal,
£360.
So this proposal was supposed to be something for next year, not now.
Yeah. All of these are proposals for next year, or into different years.
All right.
Okay. Anybody else want to speak? We'll take that as no. Any members who are against the proposal, including the amendment? And with that silence, I take it that it is carried. Thank you. The next one is community and social well-being. Elaine.
Hi. Right. So our project proposal is for the Springfield initiative. I don't know, David, do you want to speak on that? We need to put it in for 5 years. I think it would be better David or Carl speaking about it because it's there.
Well, as I raised it, I'll speak about it.
Right, thanks.
I've got to know Nick. I got to know Nikki quite well. I knew she was planning to do summer stuff this year, but COVID put a plan end to that. So I engaged with her to find out if she was planning to do something for the summers going forward. She is. So therefore, I suggested that the council support the addition of helping them provide places for those that are hard to reach, hard to pay for it in the summertime, thus allowing people that don't have the funds to attend her days. And this is what the proposal's about. So the initiative's going to be doing stuff anyway. All we're doing is providing funding for those in the people that can't normally fund these places to actually attend.
And are you making that a proposal, Carl?
I am.
And I'll second it.
Thank you very much. I wish to make an amendment, which I think will make life a little bit easier for the accounting and everything else. That this comes, we recommended that we take it from the youth budget and leave it in the youth budget, and that way then we won't need to do any more proposals for budget for projects on this item, and let it just ride with the youth budget. Do I have a second for that?
Yes, I'll second that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's brilliant.
That way, then you don't need to worry about future projects and everything else. And Carl, do you accept the amendment?
I do.
Thank you very much. Does anybody wish to speak to that?
Oh, that's good. We're happy. No, sorry.
I take it there isn't.
Chair, I've got my hand up.
Sorry?
Got my hand up.
Yeah, go on then.
Well,
sorry, I can't see hands, David.
Well, I clicked it at the top, so.
Yeah, no, I can't see it. My screen is frozen again.
All right, okay. Yeah, I'm fully in favour of that, but all I would say is that the initiative put in for a grant earlier this year, which was denied by the parish council, it rejected it, even though it did approve it, on the basis that what money we applied for a grant was predominantly the hall hire, and that is not the case. Because if there's staff wages and there's insurance on the building, repairs that anything we do in terms of consumables or anything else, PAT testing, we still have to pay for. So it's no good giving it us in one hand and then taking it away from us in the other. We have to manage the budget. And as I said earlier, you know, we did look to actually expand the initiative by more than one night a week. We were looking to go for 2 nights a week. The person that we were employing was agreeable to that, and we wanted to move that forward. So when you say it's going to be added to the budget, if we're not getting that budget, I don't see how that works. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And a reminder that the grant was to pay for the rent of the building. It was nothing else. That was what the grant was for. That was what agreed by council. And I'm just going to check now with the clerk. That is correct, clerk, I believe.
Dominic, you're on mute.
Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Chair. There were a number of elements that were detailed within the grant application. I think David would be more accurate in describing it is that the grant has not been denied. It was merely suggested to the initiative that during the period that they're not operating, that the grant be delayed. And that was in order that we didn't actually give them money that they subsequently had to pay back because it wasn't expended. So that was purely what the suggestion was. And that's an open dialogue that's ongoing. It's not a closed conversation.
Thank you, Clark. So, OK, so we now have the proposal.
Chair, can I respond to that?
Yes, you can.
Well, my only point is that when we make the application, we do a breakdown showing what our costs are. I don't understand where the parish council says that is only for rental. We never put in for a grant purely for rental. We show all the costs and the breakdowns that our expenditure is occurring, and that's it. I accept that we've had a problem this year, which wasn't our making in terms of the centre being closed down. But the grant covers more than one element. It doesn't just cover rental. It covers all the other bits and pieces, like replacing equipment, keeping the computers up to speed, paying staff wages, insuring the property. It covers all those elements, and that's what's put in for our grant. Thank you.
Thank you, David. That noted. And you have had next to no expenditure because you've done nothing with your computers. There's been no, and the only expenditure you've had is probably insurance. So therefore, that is why you would have had to pay back the grant anyway, because it would have been not spent. So that is part of the agreement with the grant system. And of course, that hasn't been happening. So, you know, it's something that we need to deal with. Thank you for that. It is noted, and we'll take it up further later. Members, is there anybody that is against the proposal?
Chair, I am against this proposal.
Thank you, Tom.
I'll be voting against.
Okay, your vote, you have voted against. Is there anybody else that is voted against? With that silence, with one person against, the motion is carried. Okay. We're going now on to communications. Nana, do you want to deal with this one, or do you want Clark to do it?
I don't think Nana's here.
No, Nana's not here.
Dominic, can you take that off?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, Nana is here.
No problem whatsoever, Chair. I can deal with that. Firstly, I'll start off straight away with an apology. Anybody that's run their calculator on the figures on page 28 will realise there's an addition error there. So apologies for that. The whole reason for putting this proposal forward was really as an add-on to the movement we've made already this year in terms of our migration to 365, our use of Teams, our use of remote meetings, and also with officers working from home on occasion where it's effective to do so. The limitation of our existing telephone system is that it is a fixed one within the building, whereas many organisations, both within the local government sector and also commercially, with COVID, they've actually embraced the changes that are actually available out there in terms of a mobile telephony platform, which is what we would be potentially looking at here. Now, I have to be absolutely upfront with you. I would have liked the benefit of additional time to come back with a more comprehensive proposal for you. So I would like council to consider making a budget available on the full knowledge that in agreeing that it will be a requirement that comms do further work to actually hone this proposal and come back with something that council will hopefully agree to. But unless we've got that budget in place, it will stand static for another year. I do believe that a mobile telephony package platform is one that we should be using. It's a case, as I say, of putting the correct proposal together to make sure council is happy with the functionality of that. Undermining all of that, I do believe that there will be a financial saving as well. So it's not that this is just something that we just want the functionality out of. And we've got to remember, if we start thinking forward towards the ideas of new hub, etc., that's exactly what we'll be doing. We'll be having a mobile telephony platform to take us into that new arrangement as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dominic. And I don't know where Terry's gone, but just to quickly say that we supported this at COMS because obviously we feel that if the staff feel that this is important to them, then it's something that we need to back and support. But because this is a COMS issue, I just carry on and just say Tom's hand is up, and then Tubo, and then David, whilst Terry comes back. Tom.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with this totally. At the moment, we've got a five-line bearer coming into that building that we're using. It has been inadequate for some considerable time now and doesn't really serve us well. It serves us, but it doesn't serve us well. And I think to go to an off main line, would give you access to, well, you could have access to a two meg bearer in software, and I think that would be far more useful to us in the long term, and certainly be transportable where our existing bearer isn't transportable. The one that Dominic is proposing, well, Dominic can't propose, but the one that Dominic has alluded to would allow us to transfer it straight over to a new building. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, members, I'm back. Sorry about that. I got dumped out yet again. I don't know what's going on with Teams here today, but okay, thanks for that, Tom. Does anybody else wish to speak? David.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, two elements to this. My first question is, what is the difference between this and the mobiles that are given out? And the second question to that as well is that when we talk about mobility and we talk about a telephone system, we're not talking about a system that people would be using while driving.
No, let me tell you what it is, David. I sit here every day when my wife is working from home, and Woofton have this system where they have this handset that plugs into the computer and it uses the internet to make the calls. It is fully secure. And when the phone rings at Woofton's community hub, it will then ring to everybody of the officers that have the system and who is shown as being on duty and working from home. One of them will then answer and then can pass it through to the person that they need to speak to. It makes a huge amount of sense because you don't actually pay for the calls because it's on internet, it's on the broadband, it's on your internet, on your Wi-Fi, whichever way you run it, and there is a saving if you look at it. Many of our staff were going to be working from home, I think, for a considerable time. Also, during shutdown periods, you're all aware that I volunteered to take the phones over Christmas. I can have, if we had it in place, I could have the phone set up on my laptop and answer any urgent calls for help, for the our emergency plan to be enacted, or anything like that during shutdown. This makes a huge amount of sense. So no, it's not something you can use outside. because of the fact you do need Wi-Fi, you do need internet. It's not something you can use when you're driving. It's something you use plugged into your laptop when you have a Wi-Fi or internet signal, or you are wired up, hardwired to the internet. And this is how it works. It will revolutionize how we speak with officers when they're actually working from home. It will revolutionize how the officers who are not in working in the office can actually take calls from the public without using mobile phones. Our mobile phone bill is absolutely phenomenal, and it doesn't need to be. So therefore, that's the reason why I fully support it. Tubo, I see your hands up.
Thank you, Chair. I principally will support this proposal, but my question is about the proposal. This is a telephony. It's not supposed to be tagged to the communication department. It is a staff and staff running cost of the council. So making it look as if it is something that is outside the building looks to me like we don't have a cost for it. Whilst I know that this type of telephony or things will save us some money, as well as is portable anywhere we go. I would have thought this could be given a cost code somewhere, just like our IT system and other, equipment we have in the house, other than making it a project. So that's only what I am trying to get a clarification from. Apart from that, I'm in support of it. It's a good thinking. I would have said, let us have a bit of slow down until we get our new building working. But for now, if it is a portable one, let's carry on with it. I support it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Tibo. Anybody else wish to speak? No. Dominic,
sorry, Chair, can I
respond
to
Dominic, I'll let you sum up. You're the one that's dealing with this.
Just to say to Tubo, so the project, the proposal is being put forward for the initial upfront development cost for it. Thereafter, we do have an existing cost code which will support the expense, the ongoing expense. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dominic. I was just about to say that. Right. OK, we have a proposer. We have a seconder. The proposal is as there, but it's to go back to comms to hone out exactly where we are. And I think it's
what the project going forward, and then to take it back to comms, but in principle to support the project.
Exactly. Thank you, Nana. Thank you. Yeah. So therefore, I'm going to ask: is there anybody who is against the project proposal? From that silence, I would say there is none, and therefore the project is accepted and carried. Okay, we're going on to agenda item 7, review of earmarked financial reserves. Again, Dominic, do you want to go through this?
Thank you, Chair. Well, it follows on from the introduction that I made at the beginning of this item. So if you turn to page 29, members, if you're not there already, you will see all of the 901 earmarked reserves. Those of you that are on F&A, or those of you that take the time to review the agenda pack for that committee, will be familiar that the 901 earmarked reserve codes are the ones that appear usually on the back page of the 9-page budget. They are ones that are usually set aside for a specific project or a specific liability that council has. And they are all individually given a unique code there, starting at 9001 for the Oldbrook Centre, which is our original and most probably our longest liability in terms of the endowment that we received with that, which if at any time that we were to surrender the lease, we would be required to pay back a percentage of that. And then it runs from there, Chair, in terms of 3 months running cost and various other projects or liabilities that we might have to meet with during the course of the year. So the first column shows the current year budget, and the next 5 columns show what's proposed for 2021-22 and the years after that. You will see that some don't have figures entered into them because that's something that will be fleshed out as we move on from year to year. You'll see that some of them do have figures across the board. 9044, the play area maintenance reserve, that is different from the annual amount that we put within the main budget for play area expenditure. You will recall that a condition of the MKC CAT transfer of Kernow Crescent required us to have a growing play area maintenance reserve to meet any liabilities against the equipment on the site there. So that's where we are, Chair. I'll be happy to take any further questions. Well, I suspect that the chair is most probably as frustrated as everybody else, because it appears to have disappeared again. Brian, if you're quite comfortable, you're more than happy to chair this part, but there's certainly 2 questions currently from both Tom and David that potentially I might be able to answer before chair comes back into the meeting. David?
Okay, then let's take Tom first, please. Tom, you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. My query was on the replacement of the roof. Is that the Springfield Centre's roof?
That's correct, Tom.
So how much have we got in that kitty now?
Currently there is £20,000 there. It's a replacement / repair contingency, Tom. I'm not sure whether we would ever get to the value of actually being able to replace the roof, because the problems with the roof at Springfield are actually within the design of it, and we would actually need to take the whole roof off and redesign it. So it's more a case of having a contingency there against a significant and major leak.
So we're no longer saving up.
Sorry, did you want to reply to that, Tom?
Sorry?
Did you want to reply to that?
If I may, well, supplementary. What I'm hearing is that we're no longer saving up to replace that roof. We're just going to continue with the budgets, or whatever you want to call it.
Can I respond to that, Chair?
Please, Dominic.
Yeah. To actually replace depends what you're talking about, Tom. We've done considerable work there, particularly along the box gutter section of the roof. The actual design of the roof is the pitch on it, for instance, is far lower than we would be allowed to construct these days. So in terms of an actual replacement, I think if you were to replace the roof itself, it would include a full redesign of the whole thing, and I'm not sure how practical that would be. So I'm not saying that we will budget, Tom, but we will just put practical fixes in places as and when required.
Thank you, Dominic. David, do you want to speak?
Yes, thanks. Well, in answer to that first question, if I could just answer that first, it wasn't just the roof tiling and the box guttering we looked at. There's a section where the initiative has its computers, and we have our file server there, the parish council. All that felt was renewed as well. So there's quite a considerable amount of work done. And I ascertained that since the parish carried out the work to the box gutter, and we all looked at some of the opening lights as well, I think it's been minimal that we've had any problems up on that roof, apart from if there's a ball got in there into the box guttering and blocking it up, or its leaves that have blocked it out, and that's caused a substantial problem. But my question, though, coming through, Chair, was on this list. The first one was with regard to the Fishermead Sport Ground, which is 9009. Now, I thought we had a budget for that previously. We don't seem to have a budget, and possibly it was taken out either with the landscape depot repairs or where we were looking at in potentially to the new bill. But I think at this moment in time, Chair, my question mark is that as we're looking at the redevelopment of the pub on Springfield, should we not leave this one, because this was talked about as a pavilion, and leave this at the moment, because otherwise our costs are going to go through the window? Thank you, Chair.
Do you want to come into that, Dominic?
I would.
I think that Brian. I think that Terry is back in now, so
Right, okay.
I think he's able to come back on there.
Thank you, Chair. Far away.
Sorry, that's the third time I've been dumped out tonight. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, David, thank you for that question. I'm actually, once we've got a proposal to accept this earmarking, I will then be making an amendment. So do we have a proposer to accept the earmarking?
We do now.
Is that you,
Brian? Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. I wish to make an amendment. David, thank you. You're thinking in the same way as I am, that the Fishermead Sports Ground, instead of it being 2021, 22 and 20 and going into year 2, I propose we move it to year 3 and year 4, because we've got a huge expenditure to make, and this council agreed that the priority would be the parish community hub. Yeah. David, you're right, we did withdraw the £100,000 as agreed by council to put that into the build at the landscape depot. So that's my proposal. Do I get a seconder on that proposal, on the amendment, please?
I'll second it, Chair.
So we will. Anybody wish to speak on the amendment?
No.
Take that as a no. So we'll go with a vote on the amendment first. Oh, actually, I don't need to vote if Brian accepts the amendment. Okay, we're going to now vote then on the proposal, the original proposal, with the amendment that Fishermead Sports Ground moves into year 3 and year 4. Is there anybody against? Thank you, members. That is passed. That is carried. Right, we're into members' matters. Council is about to note that no members' questions were submitted prior to the publication of the agenda. Is there anybody that has any urgent questions? Take that as a no. Chair's report. I didn't put one in on purpose because there were some late items that I knew would be coming up. Those of you would have seen the email that I sent to the 2 MPs with regard to the planning white paper. Ben Everett has come back to me today. I have sent the email out, forwarded the email out to every single one of you, his reply. I actually spoke with Ian Stewart, who 100% agrees with where we are, that the white paper will kill off any chance we have of having housing where we want it and when we want it and the type of tenure we have. But again, he's pleased to see the enforcement is okay. Yesterday I was on the Pirate Park, cleared the bins and did a litter pick. We desperately need to look at upgrading the bins on that park. They are very difficult to open, very difficult to close. I have already spoken to the clerk and he is making some inquiries with Leighton Linsley Town Council. Councillor Fraser knows all about the bins over there because I showed him the super bins over there to see whether these will work for us. And at the same time, I had to help an elderly lady up when she fell on leaves in the Pirate Park. And I'm very, very pleased to say that the landscape team have responded and have cleaned up all the leaves around the path and done an absolutely superb job. those of you who have been on Fish with Me will have seen Luton Borough Council operatives placing rat bait boxes. If you see them, please engage with them, as I have. I found them to be very approachable, and they will explain exactly what is going on. It is intriguing, some of the stuff that they are saying about the rats, and something I learned yesterday, that they are neo something. So Dominic told me they don't like change. So the best thing to do is to not change the landscape, but deal with the baiting. That's my report. Clark's report, please.
Thank you, Chair. A bit like some parish councils, I believe they're neophobic and resistant to change. Anyway, thank you, Chair. Two things that I could just bring to council's attention. One is an ongoing. I'm actually encouraged by an ongoing proactive dialogue instigated by the police in response to the tragic incident in Springfield the weekend before last. I'm currently liaising with particularly the Springfield members to try and get any priorities or initiatives from them that would help to underpin the community reassurance that efforts that the police are making in the area. We've given them some initial feedback on that, and again, I'm encouraged to see that they're already proactively moving on all three of those fronts. So there's that, Chair, and anybody that would have had time to look at the emails I sent out just prior to the meeting this evening would see that I was somewhat bemused by the latest MKC initiative, which was to tell us this week that they think that we're best placed to run with an initiative to put COVID marshals in across our area in the lead up to Christmas and the festive period. So I think I can guess why they thought that we'd be best placed to do that rather than them. It's an opportunity nonetheless, and we just have to see if there's anything that we can make of it. But the idea being that we would have these marshals that would be predominantly serving the larger retail or local centres within our areas to encourage and to engage and educate with people to act responsibly in terms of social distancing and responsible Christmas shopping. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Clark. We go on to ward members' reports.
Chair, you've got David has got his hand up.
Well, we don't normally take anything regarding to reports, but David, was it something urgent?
It wasn't urgent, Chair. It was just a question to the clerk. Given the situation we are in at the moment and staff working from home, I just wonder, possibly this is something for December, what our emergency setup's going to be over the holiday period, given that we've got 2 meeting places plus our office, and how we're going to set up and what arrangement we've got with any contractors if there's any problems that arise. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair. I do believe there's a gentleman that's going to be dressed all in red with a red hat that's going to be flying in the skies above us, Chair, and he's going to be looking out for all of our
that's good.
concerns. But no, David, it's something I know that it's an ongoing area of concern that you have, and I'm quite happy to work proactively with you to give you the reassurance that we will be looking after those buildings. We've already got an existing arrangement in place specifically for the new depot, and it may be that we can extend that over the festive period with the same provider. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. And also, David, as I alluded to earlier, I have made myself available to be during that first week before Christmas, where the staff won't be working, and they will be having the phones will be transferred to me, and also during Christmas period I will be available as well. And I did ask for any members to come forward if they were available for odd days during that Christmas break to do exactly the same. Currently, I don't think the clerk's heard from anybody on that. Maybe we can look forward to that. Right, we go on to now item 11.
Yeah, I would put myself forward if that helps.
Thank you very much, David. We'll be in discussion with you. Item 11 for correspondence. Council is invited to note the schedule of correspondence received during the last month. All the correspondence has previously been forwarded to councillors and as and when received. Has anybody got anything to say on it? Okay, is that noted?
Noted.
Thank you. Ward members' reports. Does anybody have any more ward members' reports?
Yeah, me.
Me,
Who can I have names, please?
Catherine,
Catherine Kent. Who else? Brian.
David Pafford.
David. Elaine. Nana, will you do the one regarding on Friday?
Yeah, sure.
I've left it for you. Okay, so that means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll start with Catherine.
hi. It's 3 little items. First one is my club that I was running in Springfield Court has been shut down. We could not keep it running because of the COVID, and we don't think we'll be able to do it next year in there. So it at the moment is not running. The other thing is I cannot pick up litter on Old Brook Green, but my daughter and son-in-law are going out every morning and doing it for me. The other item is I noticed some problems within one of the HMOs 2 doors down from us. I was watching children going in and out of this place, and there's only adults in there, no children. I spoke to Terry about it, that I had very grave concerns that there was no good going on in this building. Terry told Dominic. Dominic got in touch with the police officer and he phoned me up. I told him what was going on. I told him that these kids were coming there and they were running in and out of that house and going into the house next door through the back door, which is another HMO. They said they wanted to watch the building for a week or 2 because they agreed with me it sounded very fishy. After 8 days, the police raided that building and found that they were dealing in drugs. And there were kids in there that was taking drugs and they were drunk.
Oh my God.
There was 2 people on the top floor who were renting bedrooms or renting the rooms. They were not involved at all. It was to do with an 18-year-old boy that was renting one of the rooms lower down. And he was allowing this to go on in that building. Now, I would, if it was 20 years ago, my work was to do that sort of thing, look for that. That is what I did down in London. I wouldn't do it now, and I would not approach a building like that. I would say to anybody who is watching buildings that have suddenly started to change with different people or different children, and you know that those people that live there have not got children or anything like that. If you were seeing it, don't let it run. Look into it. Don't approach it yourself, for God's sake. Otherwise, you'll end up like I did, being moved by the police because I was having threats on my life. So you do not approach them. Phone Terry, phone Dominic, phone any other councillor, but if you see it, don't approach. There is a lot of it going on. We've now got a boy has now been moved from there, but he's been put in another one and they're having the same trouble there. I've only seen this one, but I know there's others. So my only thing that I can say to you is keep an eye on it. If you see it, no woman should approach. It's up to you men what you do, but no women should approach any of those situations. It was very frightening because we're mostly older people up here. And the neighbour didn't even know that the house had been raided because he was on holiday. And he said he found out from the boy that was staying at his house to keep an eye on his property. He was quite frightened. He didn't know what to do. He says, what if I was here? I don't know what would if he was there. I really don't. But it was a nasty situation. I acted as quickly as I felt possible. But that is just one house. It is a situation I have seen, and I've told you, councillors, what I saw down in London. Only a few of you know now what I did down in London. I am seeing it all happening again. I have not got the energy to do it myself, but it is there. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Members, I am sure that we all commend Catherine for the work, for the way she brought that forward. It was a positive a reaction to something that was happening. And again, we were in touch with Thames Valley Police, and Thames Valley Police were very proactive. And I think we had a very good result. Catherine, thank you very much. Okay. Brian.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Catherine. That's very good to have a report like that. In view of the lack of a Vice Chair's report, I'm going to sort of update on some of the things that are quite connected, if you like. Over the last 6 weeks, I've been contacted various times with certain problems on all the estates, and we know there's quite a few going on. During this period, I have discovered by various means 3 new HMOs, totally unregistered and unlicensed, and some other problems with buildings going up. I have placed all these details with Milton Keynes Council, and they've been passed to various departments, and I will update when I have an answer on this. But just to be assured, if anybody spots anything like an HMO like Catherine's talking about, just let me know, and I'll make sure the right people are aware of it, and I will push them to deal with it. Now that I've got more time on my side, I'll suddenly have, but that's something that is getting worse. And we know from the incident on the previous Saturday, silly little incidents, and I've used that in the wrong way, the word silly, but incidents are happening that seem to be more happening than they used to 5 years ago. And we've got to keep a lid on this while we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Nana.
Hi, Chair. Did you want me to report on the premiere?
Yeah, you can do the report on the premiere and also on Friday night, please.
Friday night, is that at Oldbrook?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Friday night we went to Oldbrook Park because obviously you all know that there was the unfortunate murder of a 17-year-old boy, whom unfortunately I knew very well when he was in primary school. In fact, yesterday my son found his Year 7 Milton Keynes Academy jacket in his wardrobe that he'd left here when he spent the night, and took it down to the bench at Oldbrook where the flowers are. And basically I went to his mother's house in Oldbrook just to pass on my condolences. And he had only moved out of her house 3 months ago. Apparently due to COVID, because he wouldn't stay home. So she was, it was a very upsetting situation. But they had an event at Oldbrook Park where their friends and so on came and did fireworks in his memory. There was quite a lot of people there, but it was very calm. It was very, people seemed to know what to do. A lot of people stayed in bubbles. So you go with your group and you stay in your group, and you didn't kind of mix with the others. Yeah, so that's what's happened. The funeral is on the 25th, I think, or 26th, but obviously it's only for 30 people. And that's where we are with that one.
Thank you, Nana.
I know we're trying to create some initiatives, because we got some funding as junior filmmakers. We got some funding from L&Q Homes and from Thames Valley Police to make films about knife crime. A total of £12,500.
Wow.
So we are going to look, we actually didn't do that project because of COVID. It was all cancelled. But obviously this is now a really big motivation for me personally, because this is kind of really close to home. And we're going to be looking at working with Terry and other partners to deliver the project across Milton Keynes.
Thank you, Nana.
Yeah. So also, I
Thank you
just
very
want to say the premiere that we had on the VE Day films was absolutely amazing. The films were so powerful. The young people. Yeah, I do that. I do say a lot, don't I? The young people, the films that they did were very powerful. People responded very, very positively. People were in tears almost. I've even up to date yesterday, I got a call from one of the veterans. Well, he was an evacuee. His son called me and wanted the films to present to another set of army people. The young people have been invited by the mayor and also by the army after the COVID lockdown because they were just so pleased with them. And obviously, if you saw the news, the films were on the news as well. So very, very good, very excited, very great, very wonderful. I just want to say thank you to Campbell Park Parish Council for trusting me to do that project, for giving me the privilege, the opportunity to do it. And I hope that you are quite satisfied with the project that was delivered. Thank you.
Well done.
Brian, I wonder if you might just take these remaining items. You've got David, Elaine and Tom wishing to speak.
We're gone again.
Yes.
Unmute them. Why does this keep muting? Right, okay. Who was next on the list? Was it David?
We've got David, yes, Chair.
Thank you, David. Fire away.
Yeah, but the first question, Chair, with regard to Nana's report just now, were you related to a different staff?
David, can I just interrupt you? David, I thought this was a ward member's report. This is not a question and answer session.
Well, it's just what I wondered where the stabbing was, because I thought the stabbing was on Springfield. All right, I'll pass on that one. Okay, yeah, just a few things. On Monday, I reported to Milton Keynes Council about the problem we had at the underpass at Wallstone Roundabout with the bad flooding down there. They came out the same day and they dealt with it. I was very pleased with that. The week before, we had a problem with the heating down at the Wallstone Centre, with a problem with the boiler. I reported it to Milton Keynes Council at 10 to 9. I had a phone message back at 10 o'clock saying the plumber would be there at 10 past 10, and it was fixed. So I'm very pleased to see the response that Milton Keynes Council have given us, and I've passed that message on to them and to the local councillor, how quick they responded. One thing that came up when we had the fire safety inspection of the building at Wallstone was about the location of the sheds, and about them saying about how close the sheds are to the main building. And I don't know whether Dominic has an answer on that with regard to the sheds at Springfield, if that's a problem, but it was highlighted to us about the close proximity of the sheds to the actual building. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, David. Who's next on the list? Elaine?
I just wanted to let you know that I joined the Fisher Mead House meeting tonight, which was Tom Bullman's meeting. Can you hear me? Yeah. And I'm just keeping in the loop. They're going to be having another meeting the 19th of January. It's going to be, if COVID permits, it'll be in the Trinity Centre. If not, it'll be an online meeting. But I'll keep you more informed when I know more about it. Okay.
Thank you, Elaine. Appreciate that. I think Tom's left. Is that right?
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to commend Nana on her social engagement, but my problem is parking. I was led to believe by listening to Westminster that we were stopping the parking on the pavements, but we are still in some parts of this parish having parking on both pavements, both sides of the road, totally on the pavement. I know that the police said that they wouldn't prosecute, this is some time ago, provided a double buggy or a scooter could go through, get between the pavement, the vehicle and the bushes or whatever was on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. Now, at the moment, in my particular area, you have big heavy vehicles parked on both sides of the road. Block means that everybody has got to be on the highway, whether it's a scooter or a double buggy. And I think it's high time that we've done something about it. I don't know, Chair, if the clerk can clear up whether we are having, the law was changed to say that we could prosecute people who parked on the pavement, irrespective of how much they were on the pavement.
I mean, to answer part before I go to Dominic, just on that subject, Tom, I was contacted by one of your neighbours. I believe it's Bridgeford Court, where the problem is with these large vans, shall we say? And I did actually pop out on one evening, and although it wasn't very pleasant, they weren't actually legally parked, which makes it a little bit difficult for us to do something. But perhaps Dominic can help me on that.
I'm back now, and I probably can, probably easier.
Okay.
To get the pavement parking ban, it's individual streets that have to agree to it, and it's not just a majority of those that are responding, it's a majority of the street. It is enacted across the whole of the borough, but we've just got to get it. If we want it, we've got to, as we have done at Willen. So yeah, and if individual councillors can speak to areas about getting it done, then please do so, and we'll push it through. It has to come from the parish council. It has to come from the residents, therefore we can then push it through. So Tom, thanks for highlighting that again.
Thank you.
Elaine.
You're muted.
Terry, I think everybody's had their turn. I've gone through while you were off.
Have you done Elaine, have you?
Yes.
And David Pafford?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. I just.
Oh, sorry, I went on to I was talking about the community and social wellbeing minutes. Sorry, I was jumping ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Right, we're going on now to item 13. And the first one is Elaine. You've got one item to ratify.
Yeah, it's written on the page. So the minutes are on. Oh God, wait a minute, I've just moved it down here.
We've already dealt with it anyway.
Yeah. The second one we've just dealt with about the Springfield initiative. The item to note is Willen Hospice grant for £436.
Thank you very much. Communications Committee with one item to ratify. Again, that's been dealt with.
Can I raise a question?
Go ahead. Is that David? Yes.
Yeah. It's with regard to the draft minutes on page 35, and it's in connection with item 2820.
Of which committee?
2820, yeah.
Okay.
Did you see that?
Yes. What's the problem?
Well, just picking up the minutes and read it, I don't understand that, because it says councillor declared an interest in item 7 as a member of the Springfield initiative. Well, how are we supposed to know what item 7 is?
Because that was because that was what was on there. You don't need to know what was on there. It was regarding the proposal that we've already agreed over the proposal date of the budget proposal, David.
Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm saying, clarification, just saying item 7, because if you look at the minutes, you know, where do you pick it up from item 7? Because if you look at 7, it said remark to financial reserves.
Okay, well, it was actually, if you look at it, I think you'll find it was dealt with under 3520, David.
Okay, I just pointed it out. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Communications, we want to ratify, which I think we've already dealt with, Nana. Are you okay with that?
Is that resolved to include the delivery of the magazine to all businesses? Are we happy with that one?
That was
the note item.
That's the note. Yeah, to note that was, okay. Yes. Thank you.
And then one item to ratify, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay. Again, minutes of planning. I am just pushing through. We are pushing over time. The minutes of planning, infrastructure, and transport committee. Council is invited to receive the minutes. Are they received?
All received. Thank you.
Item 13D, minutes of personnel. But the most important thing, of course, is the fact that we need to make sure that we are pushing the green bin. In my mind, and there is evidence that the green bin is probably the most important one of the lot, particularly at the moment on estates that have got rat problems. We have rat problems because there is food available. And the reason there's food available is because there's too much food going into black bin bags and too much dirty containers going into the recycle waste. I am 100% behind this. And when I lived in Warrington not that long ago, we had 3 bins and it worked. My mother lived in Leighton Buzzard. She had 3 bins and it worked. And they went out alternatively. And I am 100% behind it. Does anybody else wish to speak? Chivo.
Thank you, Chair. I haven't experienced 3 bins before, and just like the problem David is pointing out, are they going to get us some things to clean some of the black bins that was going to go into the willy bin? Because some of them
Thank you, Chivo. Just to come back on that, I think the idea is you still use a black bag and you put it into your black waste bin. That way you'll still be the same. You shouldn't have that much wet. And to be honest, you shouldn't have wet stuff going in unless it's as long as it's not food stuff and everything else. Then obviously you will get some wet stuff in there. But if you use your black bin bag the same as anybody else does, I think that'll be the way to go forward. Brian.
Thank you, Chair. I've got mixed feelings. I can see both sides of this. David's got a very valid point. Even with just the green bins that we have at the moment, we've had a couple of stolen in my cul-de-sac, and the current system works well round about where I am because people actually listen and use the system as it's supposed to be. I am afraid that we have too many instances, whereas where we got the problems, that whatever system we use, the people that are abusing it now will still abuse it one way or the other. But if it's progress, I'm happy to go with it. But that's my fear, is that more bins, which are not put back in the right place, when there's even one bin at the moment, and David is correct, that with 3 bins to put back in place, what time are the actual operators of the system going to be allocating to make sure this is done properly?
Thank you, Brian. And just so you know that in the contract at the moment, they are supposed to return the bins to whence they came. So that is something that we can pick up on, and maybe we can get a letter off to Milton Keynes, to Nick Hannon, explaining that we're having problems across the borough with the bins not being returned. We've got Ray.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. My only concern with regarding the bins is, especially around Fishermead and that, is the amount of houses of multi-occupancy. We're in a situation with the existing where bags are broken, or certain things aren't put in the right bags, the bags are not picked up. I can't see how one black bin or one wheelie bin will be able to cope with a property of multi-occupancy that's only going to be picked up once a fortnight. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Your black bin is weekly still, Ray.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Do I got anybody else who wants to speak? David, have you got your hand up again? Thank you.
I have, Chair. Sorry, Chair. Just a quick question, and Brian was quite right on that with regard to bins and about, the problem is that at times people put them out far too early, their rubbish, so that they're putting it out on Monday, even though there's not a collection on Tuesday. But one of the other problems, and it's not only about where the wheelie bins are, some houses perpetually leave their wheelie bins on the pavement. They never move them. They just leave them from one week to another on the pavement where they sit, and if we're going to have 4 wheelie bins, because it's not 3, as I understand, it's 4 wheelie bins, 2 every other week, but it's 4 wheelie bin, then I just see that thing's just going to multiply. Thank you.
Thank you. I got Penny and Darren.
Can I go
first?
My problem is that the fact that we have the HIMOs, and it would help if people could actually read English, because there was a time when we had this little magnet thing in the office that people could put on their fridges and what have you, and I can remember taking them round, and at one point it did start to work, but then when people move on to another property, the whole scenario starts again where people can't read the little signs that you give them. So I'm sorry, I know that's a bit of a negative, but it does mean a lot.
Okay, Penny, thank you very much. Darren.
Thank you, Chair. Like Brian, I've got mixed feelings about this. we do have a problem with contamination of red bags and blue boxes already. I think that it may well be safe to say that is going to be compounded somewhat with the choice of 3 or 4 bins to contaminate. I'm concerned that the recycling rates will go down. Someone's already indicated on the pavements. There's lots of street furniture and the such like HIMOs and the businesses around my particular ward where they don't seem to be able to run their facilities, waste facilities, as well as some people might want them done. I can see kids messing around with them. I can see with the green bins at the moment, fortunately on Fishermead, people have their green bin collected and they put it back in their garden or put it in their carport. But I can't imagine that people are going to put the other ones in there, particularly the black ones. I can see there's going to be lots of, we have had it on Fishermead, where the black bins have been fed rubbish, contaminated green waste, and general waste and anything else. Kids messing about on them. I can see people getting fed up with the boy races around in the northeast corner of Fishermead, and there'll be a lot of 10-pin bowling going on with cars and wheelie bins. Clearly things don't work at the moment, but changes need for the better. I'm not quite sure that we're quite near the mark with that, Chair. Thank you.
Has the chair gone again?
I believe so, Vice Chair.
Okay, right. Okay, where are we with this? I think everybody's had their say. Dominic's got his hand up. You're on mute, Dominic.
Thank you, Brian. It's to respond to the point that Penny made, and it's my understanding that the most up-to-date bin provision will include a pictorial depiction on the side of them indicating which waste should go there. So hopefully that would work across any language barriers that might be presented. Thank you, Chair.
That would be great.
Thank you very much. I think that's answered the question, Penny. I would say good luck with that, but we'll leave that for the future. Okay. Okay. On to 15. Draft minute potential IT system subscription decision.
Chair, just before you move on, I suspect that actually trying to find a definitive council position on the waste consultation would be almost impossible. But I've certainly picked up that in terms of a response, there is the issue of the replacement of wheelie bins going back to the property that they're allocated. So that's certainly something that I could put in, and I'm sure that members would feel strongly that the retention of a weekly collection for all non-recyclable material is important as well, which Darren seems to be agreeing to there. Is there any other significant point that we need to put in? I would just put that question in. But as I would say when I put the consultation out myself to you, I think it's really important that all of you take the time to respond, because that's the way they're going to get the most information. But I've certainly got those points, Chair.
Certainly, I would back wholeheartedly what's been said so far with that. It is vitally important with the problems and the I use in brackets overcrowding we have in some of our properties, that it is collected weekly, because it's going to create a problem if it's not, that is going to be worse than we are already dealing with. And certainly if we are making them aware, as David said, if we are making aware that things are not being put where they should be, then that's something that really, that's part of their remit. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Anybody else want to speak? Carl.
You've got Catherine.
It's Catherine.
Catherine.
Yeah. I haven't actually read all of that paperwork on the internet, but will we still be getting the black bags given to us, or the recycle bags, should I say, given to us at the end of each year?
No, this is to replace the bags. You don't get given black bags now, Catherine. You have to buy your
No,
own.
but you get the recycle
Yeah,
bags.
that will be finished.
Right, so we
Because you're
don't
splitting
need
it
to
into
use
bins.
recycle bags in the recycle bin.
Yeah, no, there won't be any bin. There won't be any bags issued. That's the idea, is to cut down on the cost of that as well.
Is there anywhere that, have they got a company that comes round and cleans these bins?
They haven't. You can get one.
I've got mine, I've got my steamer, but the bins are going to stink down the roads if they're not cleaned.
Yeah. Well, that's,
Yes,
again,
there
that's
is,
something
Catherine.
we need to do, but like, Milton
There
Keynes
is.
Council have got no intention of cleaning bins. If you read through, there is nothing in there at all about cleaning bins. Okay.
Well, the roads are going to stink. I tell you, they'll stink in the summer. Sorry.
Thank you very much. David?
Yeah, just a quick one, Chair. Do they intend to number these bins for each household, or we've got to do that ourselves as well?
Again, that is down to the individual household. Okay. Dominic, do you want to just summarise it? Just make sure you summarise exactly. Oh, hang on, I've got Darren. Do you want to come in?
Yes, only to ask statement whether it's particularly back bags, but it applies to recycling as well. I seem to remember some kind of meetings going on where the bins first got pinched, and certain groups turned around and said about fortnightly collections. That's the one way, to surefire way to make sure that you're out of administration for the next 15, 20 years. And also the other thing is if the bins disappear, who's going to pay for the replacements of the bins? Because I can see that being a big expenditure as well. And people just won't, if they're expected to pick up the tab for bins that have been purloined by other people or taken for a walk and dumped. I can see a lot of people borrowing other people's bins and disposing things just as they fancy, like they do around about the shops in Fourth Evan Place.
Again, maybe that's something. Thank you. Maybe that's something you need to put down for, again, if everybody does an individual one as well, that's something you need to put down. There's going to be lots and lots of ploys, different things that happen. Dominic, have you got everything you need to put one in for the parish?
Yes, Chair, that will concentrate on the absolute requirement that it's written into the specification that and enforced that the respective bins are placed back to the properties that they belong to, and that the weekly collection of non-recyclable goods is a given within the contract as well, Chair. Yeah,
thank you very much. That I think we've gone through that. Everybody can do their own individual one as well. I certainly will be. And I'd like to move on to item 15. Committee resolved to recommend to council it subscribes to decisions and boards and councils provided by decisions. The service is fully integrated with Microsoft 365. What I'm going to do is on the links that were sent out to everybody, there is a video there that tells you about it. It doesn't take that long. And I'm going to ask the clerk to share his screen and play the video.
Thank you, Chair. Hopefully in a moment, please tell me if it's the case. You should all start to see the decisions website. Are you starting to see that now?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Good.
Did you enable sound, Dominic?
Dominic, there's no sound.
Okay. Right. Well, we might as well bin that, but hopefully you will have all taken the time, or most of you will have taken the time to take a look at that video in advance of the meeting. I hit the end of my technological know-how to share the audio as well. We're looking at a situation whereby recent changes to website accessibility was the catalyst for this change in terms of the way that we put documents onto the website. That in turn led us to review how we were actually putting agendas together for our meetings. Decisions for boards and councils, they're actually an organisation, they're based in Norway, as it would happen. Their platform works with 365, which makes it a good fit for the environment that we've just moved into. So essentially, we will be able to automatically use their system to be able to create agendas, create minutes in a very seamless way. It will change the way that you're actually able to review, to carry out your meetings. Those that carry on using Teams, you will be able to view the agenda in the chat box in the way that you see it now. We'll be able to share documents, and hopefully we might be able to listen to audio that's being shared at the same time as well. It's got some, I think, some important additional factors that we can use, and that's also in terms of the tasks and the actions that are actually identified from council, then automatically are captured. They don't get lost. And they are then directly able to put out to various people that need to do them. So I think it's a really useful way of us, number one, being compliant with the website accessibility regulations that we need to fulfill. But at the same time, I think it's an exciting move for us down this whole 365 journey. And I know certainly that if we do decide to take this forward, we will be one of the very first parish and town councils nationally to be using this particular system. And I think we should try and innovate where we can, and I think that if we go ahead, this will be a really exciting development for us. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Nana.
Yes, just wanted to say, the first time I heard Dominic present this project, he used the word exciting to describe it. And I thought it's very, very rare that I hear Dominic use the word, I am excited about something. And so I think that just by virtue of this project exciting Dominic, I think it's something we should go for. For me, in terms of what I've heard about it, it sounds interesting. It's definitely the way to go. It's innovative. It's taking us, into where everyone is going to go anyway. And I definitely support this project. Thank you.
Are you making it a proposal as a chair of comms?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Forward.
I saw Tom with his hand up. Does anybody
seconded?
Seconded. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Chair. I done the training, the clerk's training for this, whatever you want to call it, to make us compliant in the law. It is a mammoth task, and if we can have something which makes it easier for it to give us the facilitation that we require to comply with the law, I think it's got to be worthy of at least a good trial. And if it hasn't been seconded, I'll second it. But I do think we should go down this route. I think all of you should now be aware of what we've got to do to be compliant with the law when it changes. Well, it was supposed to have been changed in September, but this pandemic has delayed it, and it's probably going to be sometime in the spring now that we have actually got to accomplish it. Campbell Parish Council, because of the system that it has used, and the style sheets that we have used, we are probably very, very close to being compliant now. There are areas where we will not necessarily be compliant. Our newsletter is the first one, and the newsletter being put onto a website. Our website has got to have some serious work done on it. But Chair, I think we can say that we have got to do it. It's not an option to comply with it. The date that we've got to comply by is a moving target. It was supposed to be, as I said, September. It's now probably going to be the spring sometimes. But let's get this and get the paperwork up to scratch. And our agendas and minutes are very good now. The best I see anywhere. And I've worked with all over now. And ours is by far a way out in front of the rest. But do please accept this and let's get on with the job. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Tom. Elaine Webb.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say that the production of agendas takes up probably a week or more of officers' time each month. Then you have the minutes on top. One of the main problems we have with our agendas, the full agenda pack that you receive, nearly every month, every meeting, we have to incorporate a PDF document into our full agenda. The only way we can do that at the moment is really tedious. It is taking a snapshot of each page of a PDF document. And in some cases, this has been 60 pages I've had to spend doing. You take a snip of it, you then copy it into the agenda. It's a very, very long, slow process, takes a lot of time. This new software program means that PDFs we can automatically just drag them in to our agenda. And then once we make up the full agenda, or as they call it, the book, the whole thing is printed out. So all our PDFs will be easily accessible. And more importantly, when they go on the website, they will then be accessible to our residents.
Thank you very much, Elaine. I do want to say a few words, and Nana, thank you for the words about hearing the clerk being excited. I've heard it twice in the last week, and it's absolutely fantastic that we've got officers that are excited in what we are doing. I am very much in favour of this. I've looked right through it. I spent a considerable amount of time going through their website and watched the video, I think 4 or 5 times. It is exciting. And I'm a technophobe, but I can understand where we're coming from. You know, it's a system that is designed to make life much easier for our officers. And I don't think there's anybody in this council that would go against making sure that our officers get the job done with the ease and everything that this equipment will do. Does anybody else want to speak? We have a proposer and a seconder for the motion that we go for this. So is there anybody that's against the motion? With that silence, I declare the motion carried. Thank
Chair,
you.
could I just respond to that big vote of thanks to council for backing the proposal to introduce this. I will now start taking the medication to keep my excitement at bay. But please bear with us during the period in the run up until Christmas, because we will now have less meetings. That isn't a period of time that we're then going to do less. I think, in fact, it most probably mean that we're going to do more because we're going to use that period to transition to start to use this. So I'm sure there will be some interesting bits along the way. There will be a few bumps. There will be some stylisation differences in the way that things are presented. We will work with that. Hopefully, we will need to have a kind of an enlightened outlook and a flexible approach. You will see already from the front page of the agenda pack tonight that we've just had to do something slightly different in terms of logo, etc. But be patient. We will draw it all together, and this is about long term freeing up officer time to actually do some of the other stuff that I know is really important and that you want to be carried out. So thanks once again for backing the system.
Thank you very much. Tom, you've already dealt with it. Is it something that you need to speak about? Go ahead.
It's a question of how long will it take us to catch up on the backlog of 5 years that is required?
Thank you, Chair. I can answer that. The backlog isn't as big, Tom, as we had initially feared. I've done some delving into it. The actual material that predates September 2018 doesn't need to meet the threshold. It's material between September 2018 and in theory September 2020. Comms are working on that, and they are looking at a revised proposal from two-storey partnership to bridge that gap next week, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, we've been sat here now for 2 hours. I therefore am going to suspend the meeting for 5 minutes for a comfort break. Thank you. Back for 21:36, please.
Tom? I'm just looking over your right shoulder. Is that a picture of a young Sean Connery there in the white dinner jacket in the picture behind you?
No, that was me in a nice Savile Row suit.
Oh, okay.
I had, yeah. They used to come out from Savile Row every year to Judah.
Uh-huh.
Measure us, go back, come back with a skeleton suit made up, and then the way they went and they made the final suit up for you. It's got white jacket and blue and black trousers.
Uh-huh.
And it's in Thai silk.
Okay.
It's upstairs, and I keep thinking I'll get into it one day again, but
There's optimism for you.
there's no way I'm ever going to get into that suit again.
No, I find most of my clothes shrink in the wardrobe these days.
I've got a wardrobe full of dinner jackets, and the damn thing they only last 2 years and they shrink.
Yeah, that's it. They're terrible.
Right, I actually bought myself a new wedding at the stable belt, and because my last ones have all shrunk.
Councillors, don't forget this is still being live streamed.
Oh yes.
Well, I'd like to think that all residents can see that we've got a human side as well.
What do you suppose Terry is doing in that bar?
Oh, you're not supposed to see that.
Guarantee for me, please, Parker.
What, just the one?
Chair, I think we're just about there now, time-wise.
Yeah, we are coming up now. So yes, thank you, members. If we can get back to where we were. David, sorry, I missed it. You had your hand up. Was it for anything on that last item?
Was that me?
No, David.
No. David.
No, Chair.
Thank you very much. Okay. Members, we'll go on to item 16. This grant application came in very late because of it when they Frank Hell Court went to get their Christmas tree and all their decorations out. They found they were absolutely wrecked from a large flood they had. And I did ask Elaine if she wouldn't mind if we brought it to council rather than holding it 6 days later at Community and Social Wellbeing. And she did agree. Because this is quite obviously, as you can see, it's quite time sensitive. But as you can see, what they're asking for is a £500 grant to replace the Christmas tree and the decorations. And to be honest, this year they've had such a bad year around there with the COVID situation. And it would really just cap it off if they had no Christmas decorations in their social area, as they are permitted to be together in there because they are a complete support bubble within a sheltered housing group. They are asking for £500. You see they've got their accounts all in order. There's very little money. In fact, it's in a minus figure at the end of the year because they spent the money that they've had. I'm hoping everybody's taking a look at it. Does anybody wish to make a proposal on it? David?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I wish to make a proposal that we accept it. And can I just comment, it's very nice that we actually give grants within the parish rather than the grants that we've been giving to groups outside. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Everybody. Okay. Nana, do you wish to speak?
Hands down. I was just going to propose it. Or
thank you very much. Okay. Does anybody else wish to speak?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, the one thing I'm going to ask is that officers expedite, if we do accept it, that officers expedite this very, very quickly and get the payment out to, if possible, by the end of this week. Obviously, we're coming up to, we're well through halfway through November, and I think it's going to take them a while to get everything in. And Dominic, I'm pretty sure that is okay to be able to do that, isn't it?
That's entirely possible, Chair. Yeah, I think that we could expedite that and do an electronic transfer if we get the details, Chair.
We have the details already. Okay, members, a vow.
Can we ask for some photographs of these decorations to go in home ground or something?
there won't be a problem with that at all. I can go in there and get them anyway.
Lovely.
Thank you. Members, is there anybody against the granting of this, the giving of this grant, £500 for Frank Halcourt Social Club? I will take that as a no. Therefore, the proposal is passed. Thank you. Committee appointments. Clark, would you like to continue with this one?
Thank you, Chair. We were lucky enough to welcome 2 new members last month, and it's an opportunity now for them to join the committees. You will see as you turn over the page that we currently have a berth on personnel, 2 on CSW, and 1 on buildings and property. So I guess a nice starting point would to find out from both Keith and Francis as to whether they've got a preference and continue from there, Chair.
Thank you. Keith, first, please.
Hi there. My preference is to go on the Buildings and Property Portfolio Committee. I joined the meeting the other day as well, just to see what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would you be interested in going on Community Social Wellbeing as well, where there are 2 vacancies and both of you can join that?
Yeah, that one also sounds like a good idea.
Thank you very much. And Francis?
Yeah, I would like to join the Committee on Social Wellbeing. That's okay for me.
Yeah, and also personnel?
Yeah, that's okay.
Thank you very much. Can I just hear an agreed from members?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thank you very much.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Good.
Agreed.
And if the chairs of those 3 committees can please contact the 2 new councillors and introduce themselves, and then lead them forward into where we are on those committees. Thank you.
Yeah.
Item 18, coronavirus pandemic. Clark.
Chair, there's no further information or initiatives to bring forward at this moment, but obviously that's reviewable on a weekly basis.
Thank you very much. Members item, bus service provision for the parish. David Pafford.
Thank you, Chair. We've already spoken as the parish council about the service, I believe, that was lost on Fishermead. I believe that all the services that are funded by Milton Keynes Council as the subsidised route are being called in. I know particularly the one in Woolstone will affect us quite seriously if we lose that service, because it not only picks up the route from Woolstone back into Bletchley, but it goes the other way as well, city centre station onto Bradwell. Part of that service also picks up picks up the hospital, but it also helps in some of the smaller villages like Woughton and Simpson, the elderly people who rely on that to get themselves down to Bletchley. It's not a local service that you can count on like some of the buses on the other grid squares where they actually come into the estate. So in terms of the 18, the only way you can pick that up is either it comes through Woolstone, or the only alternative to that would be to pick it up on Child's Way. Otherwise, there is no local area you could pick it up from, not like the other ones that run through the actual middle of the estate. It would be seriously missed, and I think also that Milton Keynes Council needs to bear in mind that when people visit places like Bletchley, it actually bringing people in to use the shopping facilities. I believe also in Bletchley that they are losing Sainsbury's. I think that's going. So it's fundamental that we keep a bus service going for people, especially when they're getting old and they longer have got the use of their cars for one reason or another. And I put it to this council that we should support that these subsidised bus routes maintain. We've already had the situation that if you catch the bus before 9:30 now, you've got to pay the full fare. So a bit by bit it's being eroded, but let's try and keep the service going, especially when it picks up things like the hospital. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Does anybody wish to speak? Martin.
I don't think David actually read the presentation that was given to parish councillors on what is going to replace the subsidised bus services, which I asked Dominic to recirculate in advance of this meeting, because clearly David's under the impression that in fact there will be no replacement for the 18 bus service, whereas in fact there will be a new system which it's still in its early stages of being specified, but fundamentally it will be demand responsive. That is, you will ring up and be told where to go to meet a bus that will be going to where you want to go, and it will be no more expensive than now. In places where this has been done, it's reduced the wait for typical wait for a bus from an hour, as it is in the 18, for example, to 10 minutes, and it will reduce the required subsidy from several £1 million to a figure below £1 million. So the service will be better and it will be cheaper. And I'm afraid the other thing, David, is the decision has already been taken, so it's a little bit late to say, well, let's support the old system, because that's already gone. And from next April, we will be having demand responsive transport in one form or another.
Thank you, Martin. David, I'm going to let you. I'm not letting you come back just yet. Because I'm going to speak first. Yes, the services have gone. The bus services, subsidised bus services, have gone. And if Milton Keynes Council wasn't going to withdraw from them, many of the service providers were, because even with the subsidy, they are not commercially viable. You know that if you hear nationally that bus usage is down by 40%. And if bus service is down by 40%, you cannot expect any company to run a bus service where they are losing money. And also the several £1 million that Milton Keynes Council put into the subsidy just isn't viable. It's no longer viable. When you see the hole in Milton Keynes Council's budget caused by COVID, then you can understand why that they've had to do what they've done. Martin's right. The decision has already been made. It was made by the portfolio holder as a delegated decision, and we've just got to look forward now to a new system, which I believe is working. I have already spoken to residents who have used the DRT and via van, and it is working. And in some instances, it's actually worked out cheaper for them. And as Martin just said, it is no longer an hour wait. You could be in a via van within 10 minutes and to get to where you want to go. So therefore, it is more flexible. It is more economic for the council, and it is also, I believe, in some instances, more economical for the user. Val.
I attended the Zoom meeting for this DRT, all very positive. The number 28, I believe, is already running and running well. So it's hopeful for the future. They already operate around the world, and so it's not a new thing that they're trying out. And I did think through the whole presentation of dial a bus. It's worked here before, it could work here again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else wish to speak? No? Okay, thank you very much for that. We will now move on.
Chair, can I come back in on this?
You can.
Just a couple of points. I did watch the video. I did sit in on the meeting, Martin. I thought the system had been called in, this question of it being approved. I don't know by full council. I thought that question had been called in. I'm told the minimum charge is £2.50, And if there isn't sufficient people using that bus, that service won't run. So if you want to use a service that goes from A to B, and there is nobody else using it, I can't see that they're going to turn up just for one person. What they're going to do is wait until there's several people want to go in the same direction and then run that service. So I don't know, maybe I missed out on some of the points that were spoken about, but I was told the minimum charge is £2.50, and people actually at the moment, if they've got their bus pass, don't pay anything after 9:30. So I think that's wrong. But I thought the government was putting money into Milton Keynes Council to offset what money it was losing on car parking. So I don't know whether that was there to subsidise it as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, that's the end of that. I'm going to keep my eyes and ears open to exactly how it's running. But I currently believe that the system is working. Planning Committee, temporary expansion of delegated powers. Council is invited to consider putting measures in place to temporarily expand the delegated powers of the Planning Committee with specific arrangements put in place to ensure that a response is made to any planning applications received between the 1st and 8th of December. Any applications received after the 8th of December will be considered a scheduled meeting of committee on the 4th of January 2021. Brian, do you want to speak on this, or do you want to leave it to the clerk? Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. Hopefully the text there is self-explanatory. We have a relatively long gap between the meeting on the 30th of November until the next one on the 4th of January. Just to give members some comfort, obviously, if something highly contentious were to come forward, discretion would be kind of not exercised on that one, but it would in fact be taken to the December meeting of council, and arrangements such as these are already in place with other town and parish councils in Milton Keynes also. But it's just there as a provision just to cover these 8 days, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to make it a proposal from the chair. Would anybody care to second me?
I'll second it.
I'll second.
Thank you. Does anybody wish to speak? I'll take that as a no. Anybody against the proposal? Again, silence means that it's been carried. Thank you. Well, we now come into the confidential item where we need to make sure that the live stream is turned off and we actually stop recording. Elaine.
Sorry, Chair, I've just asked Cloudy to stop the recording. Can you please give me just a few moments till I hear back from them?
Yes, you can. No problem at all.
In the meantime, Chair, I can confirm that we've now stopped recording.
Thank you very much, Clark.